G'day everybody and welcome to another episode of Automotive Karnage. Today we're going to go through all our cars and figure out what on earth we're going to work on next. So yes, welcome to Automotive Karnage. My name's DJ and thank you so much for joining us today on this video. It's going to be a little bit different. We're just going to quickly run through all of our vehicles and find out what we're going to work on next. Now that Bucky Yundle 1979 Toyota Cressida is done. Now the original idea with this, just quickly, was to make a bush car from the bush, so I was only allowed to use major components and parts, as many parts as I could from other bush wrecks around this area. And well, we have succeeded. There it is. Bucky Yundle is a running, driving bush car. You can take this thing out now and, well, I won't say thrash it, but you can go drive it gently through the bush. It doesn't drive very well, as you can imagine, for a car that has got rubber bushes and rust and everything that's been sitting out in the outback weather for 20 plus years. It is absolutely cactus underneath there. And then we thought, let's stress it even more and take it to the Red Centenats, and we had an absolute blast taking it there. We got to spend an awesome weekend with Dad and Jaden. We got to meet some absolutely amazing viewers. And well, yes, it was an up and down roller coaster ride of a trip, but it was overall absolutely amazing. I'm so glad we did it. So now this glorious car of a bush wreck is complete. What do we do next? We spend a couple of episodes working on this, fixing the suspension, fixing its drivability issues, and really dial it in and make it something that we could seriously have a lot of fun with in the bush? Or are you guys all sick of seeing the Cressida and you want to try something a little bit new and different? Well, that's okay, because we've got 15 cars that we can work on. What else we have is a daily driven Prado. This thing is my absolute awesome bush hunting car. This is what we take out when we go looking for parts, looking for cars, and just general mayhem in the bush. Now this one, Byron from Down the Street with Byron helped me redo all the suspension, redo all the brakes. It has had a new clutch put in it, it's had new timing belt put in it, it has had so much work done to it. It is almost where I want it to be. It is looking good, but now all that chassis stuff sorted out, it needs more power. And let me show you how we're going to achieve that. Now, this is an idea I have had brewing in my head for a couple of months, probably years now. This is a Toyota 2GR engine. These came, well, this one specifically came out of a Toyota Kluger. They're rated at about 198 to 206 kilowatts, depending on what model you get. All aluminium, VVTi, absolutely awesome engines, and they are the successor to the 5VZ series that come in the Prado. So what I want to do is take this in this front wheel drive configuration, get rid of all of that, put a new Prado 6-speed manual behind it, and fit it into there. Now that's not going to be an overnight job, and as far as I can work out, no one else has done it to that vehicle specifically, to a Prado. But the later Prados and Hiluxes came with the 1GR, which was a 4-litre version, and that was designed to be north-south orientation. So we're going to take a few engine mounts from that and try mix the lot together and get that engine into that car. But we're not quite ready for that yet, so we can't work on that just yet because I still need the Prado to go out bush. But also I haven't got a transmission yet. I need to get the 6-speed manual transmission for it. Right, and then moving on, as you can see, our FG Falcon, we'll start pulling the Barra and the ZF 6-speed out of that. We also have a subframe for a VL Commodore. Any guesses what that is? So yeah, we're going to pull a few more parts out of that. Hopefully the leather seats and that will go into the daily driven Prado as well. There is the Barra, and she had a hard shunt on the front. It's just pushed all this in. As far as I can work out, the crank is okay, but we'll still go with that. So we have a Barra to transplant into something, what, I don't know. Moving down the line, we have our EB2 XR8S. Picked this up for a couple $100. Some people tried hot wiring it and absolutely destroyed all the wiring under here. This was a running driving car beforehand, before all that happened. And what's kind of amusing though is that they did all of that and the keys were literally sitting on the passenger seat as they were doing it. Don't be a criminal, you're dumb. So yeah, it's still got its 5-litre V8 in it. It's only done 100 and, whoa, that's very good gas struts. It's only done about 160 odd thousand kilometers. So the idea with this one is to just restore it back to original, redo the paint, redo the interior, get it looking all smicko, and then sell it on. So, do you want to see a sort of restoration brought back to life project on that? That's not an option. Subi, we have a Subaru Forester. I'll be honest, the only reason I got it was because I wanted that turbo engine with the 5-speed manual gearbox. It runs, it drives, the clutch is on its way out, the brakes are useless. It only boosts to 6 psi. I thought it wasn't boosting, but then we installed a nice little boost gauge there, took it for a little street tow, and we found out that yes, it is pulling 6 psi. The car's crap. It has got so much work that needs to be done to it. It is really not worth restoring. So the engine and chains will be coming out of that and joining this glorious pile of engines that we have collected. When I started collecting engines, I don't think I get this many awesome engines so quickly. So what we've got the 2GR, we've got the FG Barra, we have a 5-litre VR or VS engine, we have a VCT Intec engine, we have an LS1, we have a, yeah, I'll tell you, it's a Jaguar V12 and a Chrysler Big Block 440. So those are the engines we have to play with, and I'm purely collecting engines just to put them into the bodies that we find out in the bush. As you know, we find lots of bush wrecks. Most of them are just chassis and bodies. All the engines will be taken out. So now we have a supply of engines to put into bodies. So, you know, that's going to be a bit of fun in future episodes as well. The V12 is destined for a sooner car once I find it. Okay, I'll be honest with you, when I find my charger, I really want a VH charger. That V12 is going in it. I've got a 5-speed manual to go behind it. It's going to be awesome. Oh yeah, and then every engine has got a matching gearbox to go with it, or transmission to go with it. So that's really cool. Now, as for that 440 Big Block, no, it is not going to go into our Dodge. It just wouldn't suit the idea of what this Dodge is. This is my Dodge 106C 1966 model. Yes, it is a VC Valiant, but it's the Dodge model, so it's rarer, and it was designed for fleet buyers and farmers. So there's not many left around. A few subtle differences between a VC Wayfarer, but effectively the same vehicle, slant 6, 3-speed manual. What we're missing for this car is a floor. Yep, it has a very holy floor. So I need a floor. I need a VC, I need an AP5, AP6 or VC Valiant floor from either sedan, wagon or ute. They're all the same. I need the entire floor from the firewall all the way back to behind the rear seats. Once we have a floor, we can continue work on this car. So far, we've got all brand new brakes, we've got all brand new bearings, we've got all brand new suspension, brand new steering, brand new bushes. The only things we still need to put in is new torsion bars. Depending on what size engine we put in it, we need new torsion bars, and we need new leaf springs. It turns out the eyelets on those are cactus, effectively. And then that's the Dodge 106C. So this is hanging around. Do we spend a bit of time and effort trying to find the floor, and then we get back into building the Dodge? I really like this car. It currently has a flat tire. I didn't realize that. But it's got currently Pacer wheels on the back, which looks really awesome. And all these fantastic bullet holes from where I was sitting on the station, and uses a bit of target practice. So hopefully we can keep all of those. That would be really, really cool. So yeah, we need to find the floor. Otherwise, we've got just about everything else we need to finish that. Just about. Moving on. VF Valiant Pacer. Yes, this is a genuine Pacer. We found this thing in the creek bed. I absolutely love this car, and until I find my charger, this is going to be my forever Valiant. It's just awesome. I love it. Still got matching numbers engine, which will restore back to well, hop it up a little bit, but we'll keep that engine in there. Again, this needs a floor, but we actually have a floor for this model. Come out of another Pacer actually, so we need to go out bush and we need to cut that out. And we've also had a very generous friend offer to do a lot of the panel beating to this car. So this thing is going to look really good when it's done. So do we start working on the Valiant? Do we make it a rolling car? Do we pull the engine out and start stripping that down? You know, this is what I want your guys' help for. What car, which one of these vehicles do we start working on next? I'm at a loss. All right. And then we have my 1989 Corolla 2 GP Turbo, one of only 6,000 made, only sold in Japan, and here it is in the Outback, because that makes perfect sense. My friend, good Nick, found this car sitting in someone's backyard in Kalgoorlie. And then Byron, from down the street of Byron, was kind enough to bring it up here. We pushed it into this exact spot and it's sat here ever since. The only thing I have done to this car is put a battery in it, hotwire the ignition to make sure that those pop-up headlights actually pop up, and yes they do. Oh, so cool. And pretty much one of the only reasons I got it was for those pop-up headlights. So yeah, 1.5 litre turbo engine, jigsaw puzzle. I have no idea how any of it goes back together. I don't even know if the engine runs still. But it's such a cool car, I couldn't let it go to scrap. Do we start working on this? Do we try to figure out the jigsaw puzzle that is the Corolla 2 and get that running and driving as well? And obviously we're going to need a windscreen. So that's a really cool car. And then I think this is just about the last major one, my 92 Nissan Silvia S13. I absolutely love this car. It's been a dream car of mine since I was about 13, 14. And now I've got one. For some of you OG viewers, you remember when we got this car, it was in 1,000 pieces. And this car taught me, do not take on other people's unfinished projects. My gosh, it took, what I thought was going to take 2 weeks to put back together, took me 2 years. Absolutely bonkers. But it was just about ready. There's a few minor things we've got to finish off to get it over the pits. So this car started off as a 2 litre SR20 non-turbo automatic. It's since had a manual conversion because it was cheaper to do that than find a torque converter to replace the original one. We've painted it, we've put the whole front end back together, we've spent, oh my gosh, so much time. And then I rang up the insurance company and I'm like, just want to know how much these things are worth now. And they would not insure it for less than $20,000. I was like, you what? I paid like 1,500 bucks for it. And I'll spend a couple of grand on it, but 20 grand, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But that's just what the market's doing these days. So, do we spend a bit of time on the Silvia, get it properly road legal, and then we can drive it everywhere and just enjoy it. I'm actually really keen to do that. I'm really keen to get this car legal and done. I've got so many plans for it, but all in due course. So there's that. Oh, and then I forgot about this fella over here in the corner. And yes, of course, we still have our F250 ambulance. This vehicle most recently appeared in the TV show Mystery Road Origins. If you want to see it, go to the last episode, and just where the whole climax of the series happens, this thing gets a starring role in the background. So yeah, starring role in the background. It was really cool to see it in there in all its period correct awesomeness. So yes, it will be staying as an ambulance now. No, you cannot buy it and pull the ambulance body off and keep the cab and chassis. It needs to stay as an ambulance. And the idea now, we were going to use a variety of bash vehicles, but we think we might just get it running, driving reliably with this big 351 FMX and huge diff in the back of this thing. And then just loaning out to museums so that all you guys can enjoy it and check it out. You know, because everyone turns them into campers, or everyone pulls that body off and makes them a cab and chassis. So I think it'll be awesome just to keep it as a 90s period correct ambulance. So brings a smile to everyone's face when I see it anyway, in this guy, you know, in this cruise. So what has to happen is you drive over 90 k's an hour, it starts to overheat, so we've got to rebuild the cooling system in it. We're still only running on 7 cylinders. So yeah, a bit of diagnostics still to do on that. So, do you want to see F250 content? It is entirely up to you guys. What vehicle do we start working on next? Where do we go? You know, I've got 2 weeks to go work on a very massive project, so that's what I'll be doing as of tomorrow. So I'll try to get this video out tonight. I filmed it today, get it out tonight. Next 2 weeks, I'm going to go start working on an absolutely massive project, which I'll let you guys in once it's almost done on what that is, and does concern the channel, does concern the family. Oh, I cannot wait. What's next, guys? You decide. What vehicle do you want to see on Automotive Karnage next? Or do we just go bush and do we just go find something else completely different? I don't like that idea. Let's clean up our mess first before we go getting any more projects. Anyway, that's enough rambling. Thank you so much for joining. I look forward to reading your comments, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode of Automotive Karnage. See you later.